Okay, you've probably heard the promise by now. AI and robots will take the jobs and you'll get paid just to exist. No boss, no commute, money dropped straight into your account every month. And an infinite feed of entertainment to scroll through or plug into. From a distance, that looks like you've won the game, right? But if a system doesn't really need you anymore, not for labour, not for expertise, not even to keep the economy running, there's one question left that nobody selling you this future ever really answers. What are you for? I think most people do exactly what they're already doing, just more of it. Scrolling, junk food, dopamine loops, low-effort games and content. At first, it just looks like finally getting a break, a bit more Netflix, a few more games, another delivery meal because why not? But slowly the days stop being something you move through and start being something that you have to kill because the average person can't entertain themselves. If they don't have the job, they don't know what to do with themselves. When that gets boring, they go a layer deeper. Full-immersion VR, simulations that will feel cleaner, safer, and more comfortable than the real world. Because if you can't sit with your own thoughts for 5 minutes without reaching for your phone, what do you think happens when you're handed 50 quiet years with no real obligations? The temptations will be simple. Don't think about the big questions. Don't wrestle with meaning. Don't face the weirdness of being unnecessary. Either get high or plug into the matrix. Let the simulation give you a meaning, a quest, a faction, a skill, a fake job with fake promotions, a sense that you're progressing again. Meaning. But now, sold you as a product. If we ever go full upload your mind to the cloud with this, that just becomes the final version. Heaven as a subscription, running in someone else's data center under someone else's terms and conditions. I've done an episode on this in the past about uploading ourselves into simulation. If you find that sort of idea interesting, I'll link it down below. But because once the system can simulate almost everything, the one thing it can't fake for you is the decision to stay human when there's an easier option. So maybe the last real job isn't a career at all. It's choosing who you become in a world that doesn't need you and deciding deliberately what you refuse to do, what you refuse to trade for a comfortable universal basic income and a really nice headset. I don't have the answer. I'm just mapping out one of the scenarios we might already be walking into. So when your income, your freedom, and your sense of purpose all come with a terms of service agreement, will you just scroll down and hit accept? What will you do in this future? Turn to pleasure and hedonism and eventually simulation? Well-fed, obese, infantilized consumers in a chair without a job, without any responsibilities. Or go the path of discovery and journey inward and become a warrior monk. Now, this is where things get pretty dark. I don't like thinking about this scenario. But if we're honest about our history, we can't pretend it's not on the table. There is an utter disdain that the elites seem to have for us everyday peasants. You only have to watch the panels at places like the World Economic Forum. They don't talk about us like people. They talk about populations and human capital. Pieces on a chessboard, not lives. So why wouldn't they just remove us from the equation instead of spending the next century trying to keep us pacified? Why keep us around at all? If Elon is right about the things he's been saying about the meaning of money in the future lately, then our reason for existing, to fuel the economy, to build their toys, well, it's going to hit an expiry date. We're only here to fund the transition, to keep the economy rolling. Once they've got their world of abundance,
and the abundant world of abundant
into an abundance model
and abundance of
as abundance.
Everybody has abundance.
Migrate to an age of abundance.
Prosperity for all.
An abundance.
Maximum abundance.
Be an age of abundance. Abundance.
Complete abundance of
Time of abundance.
The world of abundance.
Abundant or abundant.
Sustainable abundance.
Age of abundance and
Abundance Summit,
In your abundance book.
creating the world of abundance.
Material abundance.
Abundant future.
Great abundance.
Sustainable abundance. So that's abundance for all.
Post-abundance.
Unbelievable abundance.
And they're living like gods on the mountaintop. We stop being the public and start being a problem to be solved. Because if you're willing to build a technology that the CEOs themselves say might have a 1 in 4 chance of wiping out humanity, just for context, when we build a nuclear power plant, it cannot be built unless the risk assessment is a 1 in a million chance that something could go wrong. 1 in a million. Yet for AI, we're settling with a 1 in 4. Isn't that insane? A 1 in 4 chance of wiping out humanity? And you treat that as an acceptable bet for progress? Then how big of a leap is it, really, to also decide a few billion redundant people are just another optimization problem? You don't have to do it with a big red button. You can do it the old-fashioned way. Give them a false leader and march them into ruin through conquest and pestilence. Instigate World War III, where you quietly control both sides, conscripting the masses into a meat grinder, fought with weapons they don't understand, built in black book projects that have never seen the light of day until now. Collapse the food supply so they turn on each other and starve. Release a bioweapon to clean up what's left. Basically, that kind of sounds like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, doesn't it? War, famine, pestilence, and death. Only this time, they don't ride in on horses. They turn up wrapped in press releases about stability, security, and resilience, that we must push ahead no matter the cost. Otherwise, China will. Because once human beings become variables in a global optimization spreadsheet, turning the dial towards less of us stops feeling like evil and starts feeling like good stewardship of the planet. And that is exactly what they will tell themselves. You don't need a moustache-twirling comic book villain for that. You just need people with money, power, and will who've convinced themselves the spreadsheet matters more than the species. When you control the events that happen in the world, like a game of chess, when you control the knights, the bishop, the rook, the king and the queen, when you are the board itself, you decide which game is being played. You decide which pieces are sacrificed and which pieces never make it onto the board at all. And you decide when the game is over and it's time to reset. Not because the story's finished, but because the remaining pieces don't fit the story we want to tell anymore. I didn't make these videos as some form of doom porn. I didn't make it to leave you depressed and hopeless. Even though I'll be honest, it's heavy enough that it does that to me sometimes. But I made it because we are running headfirst into a future that I think the elites have been gaming out for decades. This isn't new. This isn't a last-minute decision by them. While the rest of us are being led, blindfolded towards a cliff with the promise of a utopia that never had any intention of showing up. People need to understand how this could play out and just how dark it could get if we don't intervene. I'm not saying the utopia these technologies could bring isn't possible. It's the opposite. I know they could bring a utopia. I'm saying it is possible. But unless we all get our hands on the steering wheel and stop letting a tiny group of elites decide how this technology will shape a future that they will own and only benefit them, when I look forward, I only see tragedy, despair, and darkness in our future. So what are we in this story? Are we just the spectators in the stands? The pawns on their board? Do we actually have any say in how this future plays out at all? I don't have a neat step-by-step plan to fix it. But I do know this. You can't change a future you refuse to look at. The first step is seeing the problem clearly, not just the glossy, unlikely utopia being sold to us and leaving all the ways this could go wrong as an afterthought, but recognizing those dark possibilities first and deciding those scenarios never get to happen. Once you see all the possibilities, you stop sleepwalking and you start pushing back. Community is all we have against this. And right now they are throwing everything they can at keeping us divided, distracted, and turning on each other. If you think we still have a say in how this plays out, if you're not okay with the script they've written, then it is on us to write a different one. If you made it this far, thanks for hanging out and watching. It means a lot. If you made it through the entire 3-part series, thanks even more. If you didn't, go check out the other episodes. They'll be linked below. Making these videos is a massive learning curve. If you like what I'm doing here, if you find them interesting, please like, subscribe, comment down below. And until next time, stay curious and question everything.